Well, let's jump right in. As previously mentioned, we're going to be doing a complete review of my collection of Hot Wheels diecasts. We are going to start off with the display first, and we will do the supers next, which is all in this box right here. And then I also have some scattered in that mini dump bin box right there. After that, we will go ahead and look at the 2022 Super Treasure Hunt set, the RLCs, and we'll go ahead and look at the red editions that I have. And then we'll wrap up with some miscellaneous stuff that I have here in this mini dump bin box, and we'll call it a day. So I told myself that I was only going to keep all the Super Treasure Hunts, all the 0 out of 5 premium chases, the RLCs, and red editions. That's what I decided to stick with, and so that's pretty much the majority of the stuff that you're going to see in my collection today. So yeah, we'll jump right in it, guys, and hope you all enjoy. Alright, let's get started with this display set. So if you jump right up to the top left corner, we'll see the Volvo 0 out of 5 chase, the Lamborghini Exotic Essenza chase, the RX-7 chase, and the Porsche chase from the Speed Machines. Right underneath that is a custom that I did. It's a red Porsche with some custom wheels. Actually, I wouldn't call it a custom. I would just call it a wheel swap. Pretty sick stuff. I got these wheels off of eBay, and I love them. They're great. Underneath that is another wheel swap that I did for the go-kart. I really like the go-karts. They're like one of my favorite castings, along with the Fox bodies and the Rancheros. Underneath that is a tarmac car. I was actually selling this car, but I accidentally dropped the case and cracked it, so I ended up opening the car and just throwing it into my display. Underneath that, you'll see the Nova gasser as an RLC that I got. And then to the left is one of the Dan Historics Nissan Zs. And then up top is the blue Skyline from one of the Fast and the Furious premium sets. And above that are the 2 Lowrider RLCs. They're pretty sweet. I like to display those like in a funky position just because, you know, it's just out of the norm. It's a little bit unorthodox compared to the way the stance of the other cars is. Up top on the third row is going to be the Matchbox Mustang chase. They recently released this year. It's from the Moving Parts series. And underneath that is the red 93 Mustang Cobra. And then under that is the black 93 Mustang Cobra. And then there's a 0 out of 5 chase Mustang Fox body. And then there's the green Fox body Mustang from one of the Fast and the Furious sets. And this is an older Super Treasure Hunt Fox body Mustang. And this is another wheel swap that I did on a Mustang. These wheels actually look a little bit better compared to the one on the Porsche, just because the front wheel is a little bit bigger and it's not so small compared to that other one that you saw. And that's an older Mustang from an older premium set. I thought it was like super badass, so I kept that one and I cracked it open. And then here are the other dragsters from Snake and Mongoose. And here's the lovely Blondie gasser. And that's a green Skyline Super Treasure Hunt. That's a 32 Ford Super Treasure Hunt. That's the Golf Datsun RLC. And that's the Jaguar RLC. And that is a bomber car from an older Boulevard set, if I'm not mistaken. And here's a Super Treasure Hunt Lamborghini, along with the RLC. This one is super sweet. Everything in the rear end comes off, so you can see the wing comes off. And the rear bumper comes off, and so you can see like the exit, the turbo exits at the very back. It looks pretty sweet because a lot of the UGK Lamborghinis that you see on the streets, they have this type of setup, and it's pretty badass. I like it. Here's an older Super Treasure Hunt Moon Eyes van. And here's the RLC Bronco. And here's the RLC van. Here's another wheel swap that I did. This one's super sweet. It's probably one of my favorite ones, along with the go-kart. The wheels on this car are amazing. It like goes perfectly with the gold, because you have the polished lip and then you have the gold wheels in the inside, the 5 stars, and then the polished lip just completely complements the whole color scheme. Jumping under that is the Ford Econoline van, and then a older Boulevard drag van, if I'm not mistaken. And this one I thought was really sweet too. I'm not too sure if you could tell from this angle, but the seat is right in the middle. It's like a drag van. It's super sweet. Yeah, you can see that chrome in the middle. That's the seat right there. And it's got the wheelie bar in the back. Pretty badass van. I like it. And then you have the C10 truck. That one does go up and down. Like, you can drop the stance to be slammed, or you can pick up the suspension to be like a normal truck. And then that's one of the Super Treasure Hunts from a while back. It's a Ranchero. And then you have the El Camino Super Treasure Hunt. Then you have these two Ford RLC trucks. The red C10. And this is an older 50th anniversary Hot Wheels car. And that's one of the Super Treasure Hunts from a while back. It's a purple C10 truck. And then lastly, here's a car that one of my friends gave me. This car was painted a different color, and I think he did a wheel swap as well. This is a Celine S7. So Celine also did some teamwork with Ford to do a Mustang, which is widely known to a lot of people. And then they also did some teamwork with the Focus, the Explorer, and I think they also did a truck as well, if I'm not mistaken. There probably is a few others, but I just know of those. And then there's an RX-7 Super Treasure Hunt. And there's the Gold Gas Monkey Super Treasure Hunt. The Renault Super Treasure Hunt. Another Super from this year. And lastly, another Super from this year, which is the Mazda Cosmos, I believe. I don't really like this one. It's like one of my least favorite Super Treasure Hunts. So yeah, that will wrap up for the display that I have. I have one more RLC that I haven't actually cracked open yet to put in the box. But it's the Camo Ford Raptor F-150. I'm real big into Raptors. I like those trucks. They're pretty badass in my opinion. Alright, so I said after the display box I was going to go ahead and jump into the Supers, and that's what we're going to do next. So one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that with a lot of my Supers, I do have some notes written in them just to tell me a backstory about how I obtained them. So in some of those, I'll see them and I'll show you what they look like, and I'll probably read a couple of them just to give you kind of like an idea of what I do with them. Here's the first one, is one of the Super Treasure Hunts that I had showed you in the display. I have it sealed as well. This one I don't have a note in the back of. The next one I have is the Gas Monkey Super. Showed you that one. I also have it loose in the display case as well. I remember actually finding this one, and the loose one I have in the case, it got from a buddy of mine. Here is the Golf Super from this year. It's the Glory Chaser, and I got this Super from my friend Sam. And this is probably like one of my favorite Supers. It's the purple SVO Fox Body Mustang. And yeah, at one point I think I had probably 4 or 5 of these. I actually traded them out, and I kind of regret that because I want one to open up for my display case. Here is the red Volkswagen Käfer Racer, and this is an older Super, probably from 2021. I do have a note in the back as to how I obtained this Super, and I'll go ahead and show you what I have written in. For this note, I put that the Volkswagen Käfer Racer was traded I actually traded my 2022 Jaguar to this guy for this Kafer, and this dude said he feels he gets free supers from reps at his job. And I actually know who this is referring to. He's in one of our groups online. So he's a super cool dude. And yeah, he does get like some free supers from his reps at his job. I thought that was really cool. It's a pretty badass incentive if you ask me. And yeah, that's how I got this super. We have the orange 71 Lamborghini Miura SV. And then this super I had been chasing for the longest time, and I finally gave in and bought one. Funny story about this one is that my fiance bought it probably about the same time I did, or a little before I did, not knowing that I had bought one. So at one point I had two of these, and they're the factory sealed Datsun Super Treasure Hunts. Here's the green Skyline 2000 GTX. Here is the Ford F1 Super Treasure Hunt. Yeah, so I have in here, brother Nick got me this one for Christmas 2021. Here is the custom 18 Ford Mustang GT. Here's the gold 2020 Mustang Shelby GT 500. I have a note from that one. And then here's the 2019 Audi R8 Spider. And I have a note behind this one because this is actually the first super treasure hunt I found. Here is the Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo. This is probably one of my favorite supers too, just because of the paint scheme and the wheels. And I also like the Nissans, they're pretty sweet. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. And this is also an international card. I think I remember buying this one online. There's the Porsche 356 Outlaw and the Batman Tuned Super. Here's the Dodge Van, and here's the 55 Chevy. I got notes behind there. Let me actually check what the one with the van says. The one with the van says, I found the very first one with Sam, was one of my friends. Early one morning at Walmart Brooks, Chris's friend Paul showed up shortly after and took the other super. Later on, I ended up finding about 7 or 8 of these vans in the PDQ displays. I gave one back to Sam and his friend Jose, and this was the least favorite super of that year. So yeah, here's the Studebaker truck, which is funny because I ended up going through about probably 11 or 13, I think it was about 13 cases until I actually found this truck, and it was driving me nuts. And I'm pretty sure that's what I have written back there. And here's the BMW race car, the gold one. Here's the Roger Dodger, and here's the 2020 Corvette. Here's the HKS Super Type R, and here's the 32 Ford. Here's the Shelby Cobra Super, and here's the 68 Copa Camaro. Here's the 95 RX-7 Super, and here's the 64 Wagon Gasser Super. Here's the 72 Ford Ranchero Super, and this one I also have loose in the display case that I showed earlier. And here's the 1968 Mazda Cosmo Super, and that one also showed you earlier in the display case. Then we have the Renault, which I showed you earlier in the display case as well. And then the 94 Audi Avant RS2. We have the 2020 Jaguar F-Type and the 81 Camaro. Sweet paint job on this car. And then we have the Mazda RX-3 and the Corvette Grand Sport Roadster. And we're wrapping down to the Lotus Evija and then the Mercury Kruger. And then we have the Corvette C7 Z06. And lastly, we'll wrap it up with one of the best ones I have, which is the 99 Honda Civic Type R. A lot of people call it the Gold Nugget. And these are the remaining supers that I have that were in the mini dump bin. They are the go-kart super treasure hunt and then the short card as well. Those are the last two that I have, which are one of my favorite castings as well. And so now I'm going to jump into the 2022 super treasure hunt set. $48 out of 1,500. When you open it, it'll show all the cards in there. There are about 8 cards on the right and 7 cards on the left. And now we're going to go over the RLCs, Renditions, and then wrap up with some of the miscellaneous stuff that I have. So here's the 66 Supernova. And here's the 1969 Dodge Charger. It's a purple one. I don't have this one cracked open, but I actually wouldn't mind having an extra one to crack open and throw in there. Here is the Mustang Boss Hoss. And then here's the 69 Chevrolet Camaro SS. Here is the pink 66 Supernova. And here's the Candy Striper Volkswagen bus. This one actually is a higher number car, but you can tell if it's a lower number car if the Volkswagen in the front is pink. They did a variation of that. Here's the red 93 Cobra, and here's the black 93 Cobra, which is the club car. Here's the red Porsche 959 RLC, and here's the purple Volkswagen T1 Rockster. Here is the 1969 Chevy Camaro SS. And it's got the ghost flames on the front and the door. And then here's one of my favorites, which is the purple Nissan Skyline GTR. And I have the pin and the patch to go with it. And I actually got this from a member on one of my previous Hot Wheels videos. He's one of the first guys that I interviewed. Here are the Ford F100 trucks. The blue one, and here is the orange one. Here is the green 55 Chevy Bella Gasser, the Jurassic 5, and here is the 55 Chevy Bel Air Blondie. Here's the 70 Mustang Boss 302 orange with the black pinstripe in the middle. And then here's one of the mail-in cars, the orange Fox Body SVO. Like I said, I'm not real big into melons, but if it's a Fox Body casting, I gotta have it. Here are two red rats that I have. I had three at one point, so that's why I have one opened in the display case. Here is the 1972 Skyline HT 2000 GTR, and this is actually one of the first cars I got from RLC. It was a club car from 2022. Here are the black rats, 1990 Chevy 454 SS. I've got two of those, pretty sweet trucks. I only have two, otherwise I'd probably open one and throw it in the display. But since these are pretty highly desired cars, or trucks I should say, I do want to have two sealed. Here is the pink Skyline GTR. At one point I had about, I think, 6 of these. I ended up trading some out and selling some out. And then here is one of my other favorite RLCs, the 17 Ford F-150 Raptor, and it's the blue one. So a pretty sweet truck. It's number 5750 out of 1,000. I'm sorry, out of 10,000, and the card is really good. Here are the 1969 Chevy Camaro SS's, and it's like in a navy blue color. I'm not too sure whether or not I want to open one or not. I do like this color a lot, so I'm thinking about keeping them both sealed. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet casting. I love the Camaros, and I'll more than likely just keep them both carded. And lastly, for my RLCs, I have the 1972 Skyline HT 2000 GTR. I'm sorry, HT 2000 GTR, and this is to be like a chrome paint. And then the last one I have is the chrome painted Nismo Skyline R34. And this one is a pretty sweet card as well. I'll keep it carded. I won't crack these, especially since I only have one. So that'll wrap up with all the RLCs that I have so far. One thing I forgot to mention is that I did receive something in the mail recently, and so we'll both crack it open together just so I can show you what it is. And they are going to be the NSXs. I ordered 2 of them from RLC, Ryu's Rides. This box did come a little banged up. I'm not too worried about it. I think I'll just crack this one open and display it. And then here's the car on display. And here's the actual car. If you press down on it once, the back lights turn on, and then the front light turns on. Well, I thought they both turn on, but maybe mine's broken. And then the lights flicker on top if you hit it again. And then if you hit it again, just the lights stay on. Either way, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and display it anyways. And yeah, that's it. What we're going to do is take a look at the red editions I have here, and then we'll go to the miscellaneous stuff, and I have one more thing to show y'all before we wrap things up. So first we'll go ahead and start off with this row. We have the McLaren red edition, the Toyota van, the Jeepster, Ford Escort, Porsche, Tesla, and the donut car. On the second row, the 56 Ford, the Carbonator, Subaru WRX, Greenwood Corvette. I have two of those. Then I have two of these, which are the Triumphs. And then I have two of these, which are the Indy 500 ovals. And then on the third row, we have the Dodge Power Wagon, the Bone Shaker, the Corvette. Both of those are Corvettes. Actually, all three of those are Corvettes. Gotta Go, Viper ACR, 18 Camaro SS. And then on the fourth row, we have the Batista, the BMW, the Volkswagen Beetle, the Demon, the Mustang, the Land Cruiser, and the Silverado. Of the Jeepster, which is a double to that Jeepster. I need to get those in the same row. And then the McLaren, the Charger, the Cadillac, the Audi RS, the Koenigsegg, the Toyota van, the 54 Cadillac, and the last three that I have are going to be the red EK9 Civic and the red Silverado truck, and then lastly the Silvia. In the comments, let me know if you guys think I should get rid of my red editions and consolidate down more, or if I should hold on to these. Alright, so here's the miscellaneous stuff that I wanted to show you all. First we'll get started with some of the stuff on the left side. I kept on to this because our son got me that for my birthday, so I held on to that. And then if you scroll down to the rest of the row, you'll see that they're all Rancheros. And then this is one of the premiums Rancheros that comes in the truck set. All these right here that you see are going to be a collection that my father left to my brother, and so he was kind enough to share some of them with me. These are the go-karts that I really like a lot, so they come in different variations of colors. You see orange, yellow, and my favorite is the green. On top you'll see the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck, and then you have the classic radio flyers. Scrolling down you'll see the 67 Camaro, first edition scooter, and first edition catapult. You'll see a first edition Escort Rally, to my C3500, and Dash for Cash series Dodge Viper modified, and Audi Avis. You'll see the Got Milk truck, Panas GTR1, Pikes Peak Celica, the Railrodder, Fathom This, and the Porsche 959. These are just all Snoopy main lines that I got. I think those are just two different variations. And then also the retro Peanuts Snoopy car. This one I got just because I'm a real big fan of Snoopy. Snoopy is real nostalgic to me, so I try to hold on to any kind of Snoopy stuff that I get, and these are some of them. And then here's a go-kart car that I got from a buddy of mine, and here's another Elite 64 Lamborghini. I showed you the loose one that I have in the display, where the rear bumper and the wing come off. And this 1320 C5Z I got at one of the Street Outlaws events. Some more Fox body castings, And here's the 0 out of 5 chase Fox Body Mustang that I showed you that was loose inside of the display. And lastly is the Charlotte Convention 93 Cobra, which they did a good job on, because this color is the actual color that they made the 93 Cobras in, which is a teal green Cobra. I'm sorry, a teal green color. Those 93 Cobras also came in a black color and a red color. And the last thing I wanted to show you all, also have the 0 out of 5 chases, starting from the C8R Corvette, and then the AMG Black Series Mercedes, and then the highly sought LBWK Liberty Walk Skyline, and the Lamborghini Essenza chase. Then we have the Jay Leno Lamborghini, which is the Countach, and then the Volvo chase. Then you have the RX-7 Pandem chase, and then there's the 33 Willys chase, and there's the Speed Machines Porsche chase, which this particular chase doesn't come with Real Rider wheels. And I think the thought process behind it was that since it's a Speed Machines, they wanted the car to go as fast as it can, and according to their theory, the cars with plastic wheels go faster than the cars with rubber wheels. And last one I have is the Lamborghini Countach off of the Spectacolor, and I'm missing the Mercedes chase and the Porsche chase off of the Race Day series. Alright, that'll wrap things up for today, guys. If you think I should keep my red editions, please let me know in the comments down below. And also, please, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.